We're all stuck courting opportunities, trying to earn money for whatever the reason our life goal dictates. Be it a noble philanthropic cause, like changing the world, or the humble beginnings of earning necessities, or the ambitious goal of getting filthy rich. In such a spiraling world of needs and wants, we struggle to get a few hours off the racing track. And even if we do, we often end up taking a stroll on Twitter, Facebook, or even catch a movie on air. But did you know that reading is more neurobiologically taxing than processing images or speech? The brain, like any other muscle, also needs a workout, and the benefit of all this mental activity is sharp memory and nimble learning capacity. Am I asking you to start reading up fiction or romance novels? No, perhaps you don't even have time to do that in your money chase. But here's some good news. I've prepared a few books for you that will help improve your financial strategy and make you rich. Of course, that is, if you apply what they teach. That way, you'll be engaging your mind in the aforementioned mental activity, as well as unlock your own entrepreneurial potential. So without further ado, I present to you 10 books that can make you rich. 1. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. Rated 4 out of 5 on Goodreads, over 3 million copies have been sold since this book was first published in 1996. The book explores the intelligence of America's millionaires. The title of the book is inspired by instances of someone having a millionaire live next door from them without the hype of paparazzi and glam of wealth. It patiently explores 7 secrets of these rich millionaires. By looking at various characters, their income, and consumption, the authors try to explain basic things, such as how to determine if you're wealthy, calculating net worth, generations of wealth, and investment secrets. What makes this book appealing to readers is that it's based on a 10-year research and employs the use of statistics and live instances. It proves that high income does not make one rich, accumulating lasting wealth does the magic. Surprisingly proving that 80% of America's millionaires are first generation, which counters the myth that most people inherited their wealth. Each in its own chapter, the book presents the following 7 characteristics of millionaires who built their wealth. 1. They live below their means. 2. They believe in financial independence, exhibiting prudence and flaunting social status. 3. They allocate time, energy, and resources. 4. Their parents didn't provide economic outpatient care, as the author calls the act of parents providing wealth to their children. 5. Their adult children are self-sufficient. Although this chapter is debatable, as it tries to prove that the wealthy believe that supporting their grown kids with funds may be damaging for the young adults. 6. They are skillful with targeting market opportunities. 7. They choose the right occupation. Although the book has received criticism as being age-biased, I'd still suggest it as a good read, as it focuses on the basics, such as frugality, conservation, and economical consumption. My favorite quote from the book is, "The foundation stone of wealth accumulation is defense, and this defense should be anchored by budgeting and planning." Book number 2, The Richest Man in Babylon by S. Clayson. Who has not heard about this intriguing book? Well, if you have heard about it, then you know it's worth the hype. Now regarded as a classic in personal finance advice, this book was published in the 1920s, making it arguably the oldest in the genre. Perhaps the book is popular because of the writing style of the author, who employs parable, set 8,000 years ago in Babylon, to relay his message. The diction is not difficult, and the message is clear and powerful, giving financial advice and explaining how and why people are rich. In just 144 pages, the book groups the parables into general themes of advice, particularly the 7 cures and the 5 laws of gold. For example, the first law of gold: gold cometh gladly, and in increasing quantity, to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings, to create an estate for his future, and that of his family. And the first cure: start thy purse to fattening. They both advise on saving 10% of your annual income. To gradually build your wealth, Clayson believes with time, you should increase the savings to about 50% more, naming the act of saving as paying yourself first, while he terms spending money unnecessarily as paying others. And it makes sense. I mean, would you rather pay yourself or others? Book number 3, Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez. Are you at peace with money? Is your life whole? Do all the pieces, your job, your expenditures, your relationships, your values fit together? These are some of the questions written at the start of the prologue for the book, and if your answers are no, then this book is probably a good read for you. Quite atypical among personal finance books, Your Money or Your Life has little to tell about increasing wealth. Instead, It teaches about how people can transform their relationship with money in a 9-step program, proving that most of our money problems are associated with a lack of direction in life. Detachment from money is a life-saving skill that Robin and Dominguez try to put forth. Hence, they recommend better management rather than working hard to earn more. Although the actual practical approach towards financial freedom begins towards the end of the book, the earlier parts serve as a strategic build to open up your mind and to guide you in realigning priorities. If the authors want you to take away anything from their book, that would be to build enough wealth so that later you don't have to work if you don't want to. Book number 4, The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by Jack Bogle. Investing is definitely on your to-do list if getting rich is your goal, and this book is just about that. Written by the founder and former CEO of the Vanguard Group, the second largest provider of mutual funds in the world, The Little Book of Common Sense teaches a very logical way of investing. It elaborates on the practice of index investing that Bogle built the Vanguard Group around, as he writes it from the perspective of an investor. The book begins with a parable, and it proceeds to talk about the rational exuberance of most people, explaining that many investors are greedy and would only think of where the money should go to bring more, thereby running down businesses. Throughout the book, he gives insightful tips on focusing on the lowest cost funds that covers the whole market. He offers advice on how to select funds, as well as vital funds that an investor should be aware of. In just 18 short chapters, each of 10 to 20 pages, it provides a clear and elaborate explanation to a simple investing strategy that any common man can grasp. This book is meant for you. Book number 5, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Although the writer has been criticized for his advocated get-rich-quick practices of debatable legality, no one can deny the success of Rich Dad Poor Dad that sold over 32 million copies internationally while staying for 6 years consecutively on New York Times bestseller list. The book offers life lessons to be gleaned from two fathers, the high school dropout, who is the rich, and the one with numerous degrees, who is poor. The rich father provides lessons about finances to two kids using their experiences. He makes them understand that the decision to be rich is a mindset, and you have to follow it through by creating your business and getting involved in investments. Kiyosaki uses the attitude of both the rich and the poor dads to make you see the little things that differentiate the rich and the poor. The summary of the lessons from the book include: the poor and the middle class work for money, but the rich make money work for them. Rich people acquire assets, while the poor and middle class incur expenses on liabilities. How much money you're able to gather trumps the amount of money you make. High income doesn't make you rich. Financial literacy is important, and ultimately, the greatest lesson: the most powerful asset is the mind. It determines if you'd be rich or not. Book number 6, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So much has changed in the world since Napoleon wrote this book during the Great Depression, but more than 80 years later, the principles advocated still stand relevant. With over 120 million copies sold to date, it remains the biggest seller of his books. Here are some take-home points from the book. 1. Mastery over one's mind is key. That would include conquering fears, doubts, defeatism, negativism, and all. 2. Set specific goals, including event, date, and time. 3. Decide and take rational steps towards achieving the goals. 4. Audibly recite your goals to yourself as often as possible. Hill recommends early morning recitation. 5. Develop a team of experts that know more than you. The author calls the team your mastermind. 6. Prepare for failure, but understand that it is the pathway to success. 7. Routinely perform self-analysis and self-improvement. The book does quite a detailed explanation of this in its 13 Principles of Money-Making Secrets. Even Oprah Winfrey wasn't spared from being inspired by this book, so why should you? Book number 7, The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. If there was anything Collins spent more time doing than writing his book, it would be strategizing how to write this book in an appealing way to his audience. The author appears to be more practical, as he provides a simple path to making your wealth. For Collins, saving 50% of your income is the way to go. The earlier you're able to save in your career, the better it is. If you're in the process of wealth building, Collins says, 1. Save enough for FU money. Collins believes you can and should save your way to freedom. He possesses that you should be able to do what you want with money over a longer time, which is why he recommends 50% savings at minimum. 2. On top of the FU money, Collins says you save more, and that should be mainly for investment, recommending the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund. You don't have to follow his investment plan, though. Collins' explanations are easy to understand, and I think you'd enjoy the engaging and often humorous style he's employed to write the book. 8. The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. No matter how much you love your job, too much workload isn't fun and can even get frustrating. Ferriss felt the same, and how he got out of this fate forms the basis of his book. Having spent more than 4 years on the New York Times bestseller list, the 4-Hour Workweek has had over 2.1 million copies sold. In the book, Ferriss encourages that you improve yourself so that you get better at your job and get the best out of it. He also talks about passive income streams and provides ideas, tools, and possible plans to follow on how to generate them online. The author advocates personal development, as that is what can help you earn more and propel you to quicker financial freedom. With Ferriss, it's great to invest your funds, but even better to invest in skills that would bring home money. 9. Shark Tank – Jumpstart Your Business by Michael Parrish Dudell. This book is for you if you're an inventor of a concept or idea. As someone who tries to build their own business, you do not necessarily need someone to tell you to save, cut expenses, and be reasonable with money. You know how to manage money. However, that's not enough. Hence, you need a more practical book by people who've been in your shoes. This book can help you practically claw your way into business success. The book has a special contribution from every notorious billionaire on the ABC show Shark Tank. It offers insights into the world of entrepreneurship, the reality, and the nitty-gritty. So this is not a book for those seeking personal wealth, as it were, but for people who want to build their businesses into an empire of wealth. You get to know what real-life principle is compatible with your kind of business, and to develop marketable ideas and craft a business model. Just as the cover says, how to grow a business from concept to cash. 10. The Power of Broke. How empty pockets, a tight budget, and a hunger for success can become your greatest competitive advantage by Damon John and Daniel Peisner. One of Damon John's famous quotes is, "Life is a cruel teacher. She loves to give you the test first and the lesson later." And for him, being broke was just the test, as he worked his way to his current $250 million net worth. Best known as founder and CEO of Fubu, Damon John is a multi-million-dollar investor who has not just built his own business from nothingness, but has also helped several other businesses to build theirs through the reality business show Shark Tank. The book draws his experience starting the fashion line Fubu on a $40 budget and building it into a $6 billion brand, as well as the stories of dozens of other entrepreneurs who have fought their way to success to show how people can power through with empty pockets and achieve their dreams. In this book, the author makes no attempt to pamper being broke in a way that it is not. Instead, he presents it as an energy and a force that is capable of making a person grow, if only they know how to channel it correctly. He further says that desperation breeds innovation, and what's more, the author lets you know what to do with the innovation and how to go about it from practical experiences. The book offers lessons by using real-life stories of known people to preach the gospel of wealth. No book has ever made anyone feel this good about being broke. Grab this book and you'll see how broke can be your advantage. And there you have it. Those are the top 10 books that can make you wealthy. If you've read them, do tell us how using their methods is working for you in the comments section below. I hope to see you next time.